Ludwig, Fainberg, Tarzan, and Tony. Tony liked to wear the mink coat when he would host these he would basically host our nights. He put on he's a party guy. He was a wedding DJ, and he worked at in Fort Lauderdale, spring break, at the heart of all that. So he was really good at keeping the party going. I mean, that was his strong suit. So those were the two owners of Dollhouse right there. That is the famous photo. That is my photo. That is credit to me as well, right here. Everybody can see this right here. Yeah, this is the Miami New Times that tells all about the story that I got. You can get this online. I'll put a link. I will put a link. This is the Miami New Times article right here. Let's take that with that. Right there. Okay. So, all right, thank you. And let's jump back, see what else we got. So Panama was just amazing, and it was not a long time. So those Russians decided we can get another club, and they did it. And they did it the way Russian mobsters do it. They took it. And so they forced a guy out, and we wound up getting that club, and that club was to become Dollhouse, and that is the Dollhouse logo awning at night, and that was the construction on the left over there with the bright neon, girls' rooms. Pretty self-explanatory what's going on there. And then the other one is of the actual construction of it being put up. It was enormous. I remember it was just absolutely enormous. It was actually probably too big. It was so gaudy where it was. You weren't going to miss that. I mean, that's for sure. What else do we got? Okay, this is the grand opening night. So that's Tony on stage, and this was the grand opening where a lot of these photos took place. Just all the on-stage action. I was probably letting a song go and filming this out on the floor. So yeah, there's the stage. And so what happened was Dollhouse was open basically for 3 months. They put it together fast. Things went fast. It went very well. And Dollhouse was going to do very well. We were getting a good business going for sure. And excuse me 1 second here. Okay. And so the thing about Dollhouse, which was pretty interesting, was we had Panamanian girls and we had Colombian girls. The Colombian girls all came over from Colombia to work. They had a choice of being a $500 visitor, which was a visitor's visa, or $1,500 got them a worker's visa, in which they would, more than likely, a lot of times they would be prostitutes, and it was legal. So they had a card, and they had to be regulated, and if you were going to do that, you had to work in an establishment. You couldn't just freelance or do what you wanted. A lot of the girls in Panama did do that and freelanced or whatnot, but that wasn't the case for a good portion of the girls. The girls that we had working for us, we tried to provide as much business as we could, but because we were new, that was also part of a struggle, as well as we were getting everything going. It's a new business. I could tell you that there was a line of girls that were looking to do this, that they would constantly show us on their Facebooks and showing us, whether it was cousins or friends or whatnot. We actually couldn't keep enough. We couldn't even keep them busy enough. There were so many girls that wanted to come over and experience this life, and the other ones vouched for us because we treated them very well, and they were like daughters to us. I don't know really how else to explain it, but we ran Dollhouse, and these girls, everything was very well taken care of, and everything was top notch. And then, like I said, Dollhouse was open for 3 months, and Tony told me, we were at the time, one of the condos was built. So on the 7 that he bought, it had taken a long time, but one of them was built, and he was living in it, and so I was living in it. He had the top loft. It was a loft style, like New York style, and I stayed in a pull-out couch out of a suitcase. We weren't home much, so it didn't fucking matter much, and it was just a party life. And I was gonna move my family there, and my family, I think, was a little on the rocks anyways, and my marriage was on the rocks, and but we were thinking of moving there permanently, and this was all these businesses. So now we had bongos, and we had the coffee shop, and now we have Dollhouse, and it's like we're taking over. I mean, it's like, you know, and we're in the heart. It's like being in Manhattan and doing this. You know what I mean? You're like fucking Peter Gatien, and or Donald Trump or whoever that's got a whole lot of buildings and shit going on in your city and a lot of businesses, and you know they're just made a Mark Cuban, whatever, whoever you want to call yourself, and so it was just it was going so well, and Tony then tells me, listen, dude, I kind of got bad news. You got to go home for 2 weeks. Christy and the kids are coming to visit. I said, Christy and the kids? You're kidding me. I didn't know they would come. You know, she didn't like to fly and this and that. So, but this was a big deal. They were going to transition families and all that. So he said, yeah, and I was upset. I was upset, and so I decided, well, go home for 2 weeks and then you'll come back. There wasn't much you can do, and so I went home, and I had already had my ticket bought for 14 days, and all right, cool. And I had my ticket for 14 days, and I was waiting it out. And on the 8th day, I was on the phone with Tony. And on that 8th day of the 14 days, as I was waiting to go back, he tells me, hey, hold on a second. The police are here, and I'm going to call you right back. This is, and he just hung up. Boom. And I didn't know what to make of it. The police we were always on the take. And we're going to stop right there and cliffhang on that note. What happened after the police came into Dollhouse? I had no idea.